Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Just gonna be sharing with you a little story time. I thought that it would be fun to come and discuss, past experiences that I look back on and I just don't even know how I even ended up in that situation. So we're just gonna go ahead and get right into the story. So before the boyfriend that I have now, I had this one ex that I was just over the moon with him. I thought that he was like it. I thought that I had been missing out my entire life. Yeah, I guess I just thought that I was in instant love. I mean, we had physical attraction. We had an attraction there, obviously, from the day that we met. But looking back in retrospect, I'm pretty sure I was in lust, not love. I remember we were getting to no, we were dating. He was my boyfriend, and at the time I was living with a friend. It was me and my daughter. So I guess before I go into that, my oldest is she's from a previous relationship, like way back when. So yeah, so living with my friend with just me and my daughter. And at this time, I had her when I was 20 years old. I was young. So I started dating this guy. He was introduced to my daughter maybe 3 or 4 months after we started, dating. So on the weekends, we used to pack up and go over to his house, to his apartment. So this particular weekend, I packed up our stuff, whatever we needed for the weekend, and I headed over to his place. I actually went by myself at first. Well, I wasn't by myself. So me and my daughter were going, and my friend actually wanted to keep my daughter and take her with her. She was taking her daughter somewhere. So, I just had her drop her off to me when they were done. So I was at my boyfriend's house and, we're hanging out, we're talking, adulting. And then I hear a knock on the door. So I'm like, oh, that's my daughter. So he goes and he answers the door. And of course, it was my daughter being dropped off. So brought her in. I had on one of his t-shirts. Now everything's covered and everything. I just had on a really long t-shirt. That's, what I had on. I was lounging, So that was nothing. She was about one and a half. No, she had just turned one. So it was nothing to be around her in a t-shirt. I mean, I think that's appropriate. Yeah, so, she's here, and now he made us some lunch. So we were eating lunch, finishing up lunch. He made us some, I forgot what we had. I think we had some oh yes, we had fried ribs and some French fries. Now, I had never had fried ribs before until him, and let me just tell you,
they were delicious. Like, oh my god. I love ribs, but those ribs that he made us, they were so good.
And some French fries. So we're finishing up eating and all that good stuff, and we're in his room, and we're just lounging, All of a sudden, there's a knock on the door again. So my daughter's here, so I'm like, who's that? Because he doesn't get much visitors when I'm there. I don't know if he tells everyone to not come over. Who knows? Whatever. So I hear a knock on the door, and he goes to answer it, and he answers the door, and I hear nothing. So then he comes back to the room and he puts a shirt on, because he just had a wife beater, and it was wintertime. So he puts a long sleeve shirt on. He's like, oh, I'm right here. I'm gonna be a second. So I'm like, oh, okay, no problem. So I'm sitting, now I go from the bed onto his desk chair. So I'm sitting in his desk chair. I'm like playing with the baby, and she's dancing because we had some music playing. So she's dancing, and I'm like, shimmying her around. And maybe 5 minutes pass, and I realize, 5 minutes pass. I'm like, wait, what is going on? I'm like, what is taking this guy so long? Like, why didn't this person come in? Or, why didn't he tell me to put some pants? He didn't tell me anything. So, I just, in my head, I'm like, wait, it's been 5 minutes. So I push the chair over to the door so I can take a look out. But the front door was closed, so I couldn't really see who was at the door. So then I pushed the chair back in the room, and I'm still, playing with my daughter. And then I hear like a on the door. And now I'm like, the hell was that? So, still not thinking anything. So all of a sudden, this chick enters into the room. And I'm sitting there in a t-shirt. And I turn and I'm like, oh, hello. And she's like, hi. And I'm like, I'm Angela. And she's like, mm-hmm. And I'm like, okay. So she turns around and walks out of the room. And all of a sudden, I just hear, are you effing kidding me? Who the F is that? What kind of slut do you have in here? Are you effing kidding me? And now I'm like, hold on. Wait a minute. I thought I was a girlfriend. I don't understand what's going on right now. So now I realize, okay, this is his baby mother. So I had already known that he had a previous relationship, and that he had a son with her, and he actually had a child on the way. She was already over her due date, so this was, months prior that she obviously, before me, they had gotten, she got pregnant again. So I didn't really put two and two together until I heard the pots, because as I'm sitting there, like, okay, what's going on? All you hear is this pot. Now he had the pot of oil on the stove that he had cooked our French fries in. So all I hear is, you effing kidding me? Get the F out. All this commotion. Now I'm in the room with a t-shirt on and my daughter's here. So I take my daughter and I move to the back of the room. And I put her in her playpen just in case, I had to get up real quick. I wasn't going to jump in or anything to a pregnant lady. They have to deal with whatever they had to deal with. All I knew was that I was a girlfriend. He had nothing to do with her anymore. So I was just looking out for myself. So, but I was, getting my daughter out of any type of harm's way that I possibly could, and just putting her in the back of the room in her playpen just so that I knew she was safe. I still didn't put any pants on. I mean, I really didn't care. Like I said, I was the girlfriend. I knew of her. Apparently she didn't know of me, but I'm at my man's house chilling, so I don't need to do or say anything to you. I don't need to jump in. You guys handle your business, and that's that. So I finally hear the door slam, and then he comes in the room, and he's dripping.
Listen, listen.
I'm not here for drama, okay? If you guys want to go be together, I totally understand. At that age, I hadn't wanted nothing more than to be with my daughter's father at that time. Things don't work out, they just don't work out, but that's what I wanted at that time. So I completely understood, where she was coming from. And if you have feelings for her still, you should try to go work it out, because once your child gets here, it's going to open up another state of emotions, and you're going to want to. I'd rather end it now than later on. So he was just like, no, this is exactly why I cannot deal with her. I can't have that in my life, and I just can't. 2 seconds later, on the front door again. So now I'm like, okay, you've said your piece to me, so now I'm gonna open the door. Again, not gonna hit a pregnant lady, but I'm also not gonna get hit by a pregnant lady. So I finally put some pants on. Actually, no, I didn't put pants on. I went to the door and I answered the door in his t-shirt. I'm like, yes. She's like, no, I won't even say his name. She's like, where is Tom? It's a pretend name. So I'm like, Tom is in the room. He's about to hop in the shower to get all that damn oil off that you just threw on him. I was like, it's a good thing that that was off and we had already eaten way before, or else you would have burned him. She's like,
I don't even understand why you're standing here talking to me. This has nothing to do with you.
and I'm just like, well, yes, it does have something to do with me because this is my man. And I don't know what was said. And she was like,
Oh, that's your man?
and I'm just like, yeah, that's my man. She's like,
Oh, okay. Well, he needs to come over here.
and I was just like, listen, girl, I'm not going to hit no pregnant lady, but I'm going to tell you right now that you need to leave because we not having this. I have my daughter back here and this is not, this is enough. Enough is enough. So she's just like,
Okay, what are you gonna do?
I'm like, listen, what you guys have between you two, that's on you. My only concern is my daughter is here. So if you want to come back maybe Monday or Tuesday and have this discussion with him, you can go ahead and do
So she's like, no, I'm gonna have this discussion right now.
So I'm like, oh, you're going to have this discussion right now? All right, hold on. So now I close the door, lock it, go back in the room, put some pants on, tied my hair up, came back to the door. I was like, so you were saying? And then she looks at me and I guess she's just like, wait, what are you going to fight me? So I'm just like, what were you saying? I mean, I think you were saying that you were still going to have this conversation, even though I'm telling you that my daughter is here in the back and I don't want any of this going down right now. And then she was just like, she just keeps looking at me. She just stared at me for like a good 10, 15 seconds. And she's like,
Like, you know what? I don't have time for this. And I was just like, that's good. I don't have time for this either. She's like, you guys have a good night. I was like, thank you. We most certainly will.
yeah, so I ended up closing the door and I guess she left. She started blowing up his phone nonstop for like a good hour and a half. But after him not answering, I guess she kind of stopped. I mean, that wasn't the last of that. They ended up getting back together. He ended up breaking up with me. They got back together. I was crushed, heartbroken because again, I had already given him his out. But then he wanted me back, so it was kind of like a back and forth thing. Stupid young self. Again, I don't even know how I got myself in that situation because the me now, I would have been like, he would have told me, I would have started dating this guy and he would have said, oh yeah, I do have a child and I also have a child on the way. As soon as you would have told me you had a child on the way, deuces. Like, nope, absolutely not. Because obviously you guys were intimate not too long ago. I mean, and this is your second child together, you guys are gonna be intimate again. But at that time, I wasn't thinking like that, you know. I was just thinking like, oh, this is my man and he wants me and you're only trapping him, you know, type of situation. But yeah, so his baby mother walked in on us and I was not here for this. I was not there for that. I didn't want no parts of it. I mean, I commend myself because I have a really bad temper. Like when you do something that really aggravates me, and then when it comes to my children, like it takes it. I'm gonna assume it took all of me not to react to her disrespect when my daughter was there. But then I wouldn't have been in any right, one, fighting with a pregnant girl, or two, me fighting with my daughter there. So, I mean, I was never going to fight her. You know, if I'm gonna fight someone, you must have hit me or disrespected me to the low in order for me to fight you. But I do really have a bad temper. So looking back on it, I'm really happy that didn't go left. And yeah, that was just one of my crazy antics. But we've all been there, right? We've all had that one time where we're just like, why were you even in that situation? I hope you guys enjoyed this story time, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.